Can you hear me this time? Or you?
Did you listen to the episode this morning?
No.
Well, then I guess you'll never know.
I mean, you're the producer. Everyone was more than willing to actually shift the blame to you, which was a surprising turn for me.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't care.
Don't you, though?
Not anymore.
This is the bit you don't... No. You're aligning priorities in a way I don't like.
Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself. You can't win, no matter what.
Yeah. My goal here is to win your therapy.
So here's the weekly responses from Reed.
Reed had notes.
Yeah. It's fucking light. Oh my god. I know. It's like intimate in here.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, there's no intimacy. There's no love in this.
No. We're doing this doggy style. From behind.
Yeah, like the Me Too movement.
If you haven't listened to the double dose, I'm really sorry for this out of context, insane thing to say.
Also, I said that to Sarah and she was not happy.
Yeah.
Finally, a thing that she
finally that tracks.
Each week we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC while fielding questions from listeners like you.
Yo, what's up?
You can't. You're not gonna make this as a thing.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh my god, never mind. I've changed my tone.
How you doing?
Yeah. I'm turned on.
Yeah.
This is day 2 of Thanksgiving for me.
Yeah, this is day
Did you have
3.
Thanksgiving? Oh my god.
Because we did.
Because you've just been having your personal Thanksgiving in your every night.
No. We had like the other kind of friends we've got that have like kids the same age as.
Sure. You had
as ours.
Kidsgiving.
We had Kidsgiving on Saturday, which was
weird.
Fun, but very like, high energy.
People that you know because they're also parents.
Yeah, we're a group that get together, but like there's a lot of us now. So it's always a little chaotic, but it's very fun. Very adorable, actually, because like 3 of them, including my kid, had gone to like the dress up box and they came down and were like, we prepared a dance show for you.
Oh,
and they just,
of course.
Like, this was not us being like, you should do this, like Dance Monkey. They just like came down and did it, and it was very adorable.
Yeah, weirdly sexy, which, yeah.
Jesus, no.
The music just was like...
Well, no, my daughter was like, Daddy, put on some music. And I was like, I'm not part of this. I was like, what music? She was like,
the dance is to music. Yeah.
She was like, rock and roll music. So I just put on like Audio Slave.
And was it just a lot of like rock and roll? And
they were doing like ballerina moves and breakdancing.
Oh.
It was very avant-garde.
Nice.
It was adorable.
Nice. Best thing you've eaten so far? Oh my god.
I had these very good like buffalo flavored Brussels sprouts that I really liked. Yeah, They're probably the best Brussels sprouts I've had. I kind of forget if I've even had any other kinds of Brussels sprouts that were well prepared. Yeah.
I realized this was a fucking competition.
Oh, it's not. I just, sometimes I'm just seeking out something a little different.
We're just looking for new things that the other person can provide.
Well, when someone lets you down, you think that they are going to do the thing they keep purporting to be the thing that they do.
Maybe they just don't feel appreciated enough, so they don't want to make their thing as well as they used to.
Well, I would have thought that they would have felt appreciated after I admitted a certain degree of failure.
Little too late.
A certain degree of failure. And,
I
capitulated.
Late.
It's funny to even be like, we should check this, and then check it. It's still bullshit.
Maybe because I felt like you hadn't really learned your lesson.
What a power. I respect that. That's a power move.
I was like, no, this is fucked. I'm not changing anything.
Oh, man. It just activated all of my beta sensibilities there. Oh, man. I'm not used to alpha, Richard.
Ironically enough, the best thing that I had last night was my Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I don't know. That's irony.
Oh. Coincidentally.
Yeah. I do like your Brussels sprouts.
Just
kind of like second best now, maybe. But
fuck you, all of them. Was there bacon in those ones?
No.
Oh.
It didn't need bacon to woo me.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking turn up the goddamn levels today.
Yeah, I mean, very good food, but oh, sorry, I know what it was. A friend of ours made like a butter board.
Oh, wait, a board of butters?
Yeah, so like they like mixed a bunch of stuff into butter to
make
this really nice
like
butter.
Herb butter and
so like put it on a board, and so then it like settles on the board. You just can scrape a bit off, and they had baked all sort of fresh bread and stuff.
I love that your favorite thing was the butter.
It was a special butter. It wasn't just like
my favorite thing was the butter.
It wasn't just like a pound of lactantia. They like put a fucking.
I ate the butter. My favorite thing was eating all the butter. Weird, no one else ate it, but I found the board and it had covered in butter and I ate it. There was other stuff in it. You mean like the things that they cooked on that board? No, it was a special board.
It was a special board. They made a special butter
for you.
They spread it on.
I'm gonna sit in the corner with my special butter board.
It's my own fault for saying something so fat.
My favorite thing was the butter board.
Shit. Fuck.
Oh, Thanksgiving for us Canadians. That's not what we're talking about this week. We're talking about the other Monsters Society of Evil.
Wow. Wow.
Thanksgiving's really problematic.
It's the second week of Doctober.
Ho, ho, ho.
Happy Halloween. Butter.
Butter.
Butter water.
Oh, butter boy.
All month long, we're talking about villain teams. And this week we're talking about a villain team specific to Captain Marvel / Shazam. The Monster Society of Evil. It's like not a group we've really talked about particularly.
Very cute. Very like 50s name. I love it.
Which is so, like that's always the thing with Captain Marvel is it was always like, I mean, it's a little patronizing, I guess, to call it cute, but it's always been cute.
Yeah.
Those comics are cute and they're fun.
Yeah.
And, the Monster Society is definitely a big part of that.
I mean, such a cute name. I love that. We got a ton of questions, so why don't we get into them?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, first we're going over to Facebook.
Go to the face and the book. Go to the Facebook.
First question comes from Braden Ketty, who asks, how does Mr. Mind manage to lead a team of supervillains considering, he's a caterpillar?
Right. So, Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind.
Yeah.
Classic joke. Brought back.
Always.
Mr. Mind is like a little worm caterpillar guy.
But he's actually an alien or something, isn't he?
He is. He's
we talked about him in when we he's at the very end of the Shazam movie. And so
yes, that's right. He's got a little cameo at the end there. Yeah. He's a little worm guy with glasses and a radio around his neck that allows him to speak out loud.
Yeah.
He is from another planet. He's Venusian.
Oh.
So, there've been some retcons to his history. And at one point, he's also from a different dimensions Venus as well. But the shorter version is that he is from the planet Venus, that he gets back to Earth on a probe or something. He escapes Venus somehow. But he builds these little, I forget what he has cute names for them. My spectacle, whatever things. Yeah. He makes glasses and he makes this little radio box so he can talk. He has some like mind powers, and that he's very smart. He's very manipulative, but he is ultimately just a tiny little bug thing. A big part of it is that kind of like the mental manipulation thing, and also that he tends to like disguise what he's doing.
Yeah, again, a thing we saw a bit at the end of that Shazam movie.
Yeah, and in the original, like, Golden Age comics, when the Monster Society of Evil is getting together, if I'm not mistaken, it's that you don't even see him until like late in that story.
Oh wow!
He's organizing, he's bringing Captain Marvel villains together, and you go, "Who's Mr. Mind? Who's Mr. Mind?" And then the reveal is this little worm guy.
That's adorable.
He gets executed at the end of that story.
Whoa! Jesus!
I think they give him the electric chair.
Oh my god! I hope they give him a human electric chair too.
I don't know if it's a human size. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure they give him the chair. Jeez. And then it's later retconned that he was like, I was faking. It was fine.
Of course.
But like, they like fully execute him.
Jesus.
But yeah, so I mean, a big part of it is that kind of like the mental domination thing, and also just being kind of surreptitious. You know, there have been, I don't know if it's that arc or a different one. There have been many versions of a monster society, and Mr. Mind is always part of them. And there have been ones where it's like he's finally gained the upper hand, and then he realizes he's just a worm. And if he doesn't have like followers or tools or machines, he like can't finish the job because he's just a little worm guy.
Yeah,
he has no physical prowess.
Sure.
So there is a kind of interesting thing where he does kind of have to be a little bit more the manipulator and a little bit more like clandestine and be like, "You're getting your directives from Mr. Mind," and they go, "Ooh, who's that?"
Yeah, yeah. Because at the end of the day, he understands what he looks like.
Yeah. So there is that kind of element to him. Yeah, but I mean, he has such like a cartoon like bookworm look to him.
But so how is he able to like convince people to follow him? Like.
So it is partly like a psychic.
Oh, like he's actually like tricking them.
He does have like a psychic power. I'm just gonna double check because again, he's changed a bunch over time too. But he has like he's got psychic. Yeah, he does. He has telepathy and stuff like that. He could do like other like insect stuff too. Like he could like spin silk. Shit, but like
weird. Okay.
Not in an especially helpful way.
Sure, but just can.
The big thing is just that he's a genius.
Yeah.
He is obviously capable of constructing technology.
Yeah.
On a small scale, like his like voice box
has no choice but to be a small scale.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah. All right, Mr. Fucking Smarty Pants.
That's Mr. Mind to you.
I'm going to need a butterboard.
Again?
I'm not done. Butter.
Yeah, it's actually on Reed's rider. One butterboard.
Do you want any bread? No.
No. My hands will be fine.
I got this.
You're going to eat your hands again, though.
It's worth it. Yeah. That would be my saw puzzle.
Yeah.
Be like, for too long you've enjoyed butterboards. Try to enjoy these as you gnaw your own hands down to the bone.
Oh shit. You already did it.
Oh, that's gnarly, man.
Oh god.
Oh fuck. Oh, I'm gonna yarf. Oh god. Oh, you can leave. It's okay.
You got any more butter?
What was I saying? He's psychic.
Okay.
He's a genius. He has a certain capacity to make technology for himself. But those are the ways that he manipulates. Yeah. Okay. In the way that it's not totally the same, but like in the way that like Luthor doesn't have powers and has to kind of compensate by being the smartest.
Yes.
The most steps ahead.
Yeah.
There's a similar dynamic, but obviously taken to a sort of cartoony extreme.
Because he's also very tiny.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from Kyle Solvi, who asks, in your opinion, who is the scariest member of the Monster Society of Evil? Ooh. Good Halloween season question.
The scariest one.
Yeah.
That's tricky. Let's run down some of them. I mean, there's a couple of ways I could answer this.
Okay. So,
there have been different lineups, but let's just rattle off some members.
Yeah.
You'd have, Dr. Savannah has been in there.
Yeah.
You get King Kull, who's like a super smart caveman with like future technology.
Oh,
Comes from like an old race of like technologically advanced cave people
so they're
that were
both
then destroyed.
okay.
And then he kind of like suspended animation survives to the modern day.
So, but he talks like a caveman still. So he's both dumb and smart.
No, he's smart, but he looks like a caveman. He's got super strength and kind of shit like that. There's King Kull. There's the Crocodile Man, or versions of a Crocodile Man.
Sure.
Which you kind of see in the Shazam movie, when they're opening all the doors and they see them playing poker.
Yeah.
That's like a riff on Crocodile Man.
Okay.
There's Captain Nazi, which is, a compelling argument, I think, for the scariest.
Yeah.
There is Mr. Atom, who's a big robot, like big nuclear powered robot that wants to wipe out humanity.
Yeah.
I think Black Adam has even been on the team at one point.
Okay.
They've had so many lineups. Oh, Mr. Banjo, who has no powers, but he does sell allied or like communicate allied secrets to the Axis during the war with coded banjo transmissions.
Okay. Yeah.
There's Mr. Banjo.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's Iback, who has super strength and stuff like that. I don't know. To me, it sounds like I'm taking an easy way out, but like Captain Nazi is kind of the scariest. He has sort of like in many ways comparable powers to Captain Marvel, but it's also he's got like that insane like genocidal like master race kind of mentality. Like he was like engineered to be the Ubermensch kind of thing. He's pretty scary. Oh, God. I just want to take an aside here to say I'm so fucking fed up of this goddamn fucking cough.
Yeah.
It drives me fucking nuts. No one takes it seriously. I don't know how many times I could go to the doctor and be like, I don't know, it's the time of year.
Have they done allergy testings or anything?
No, they won't do any sort of investigative anything. No CTs, nothing.
No blood work.
Nothing. And I go and I say, I'm in here every year. It lasts from 1 month to 4 months.
Yeah.
I cough so hard that I pass out. I'm coughing up blood. I can't talk. I can't eat salt. And I love butterboards. I can't do it. Like it takes up like a quarter of my life. I can't.
Yeah.
Like short of saying like I'll kill myself if you don't fix this. Ah!
Sorry to hear that, man.
So I think maybe Captain Nazi. There's the Mighty is on a version of it after DC buys Fawcett Comics. Then they bring in more.
Yeah.
Like I think is an old Spectre villain from the Golden Age.
Oh, okay.
And is like a living statue with super strength and stuff like that. To be honest, because it's Captain Marvel, because it's got that Fawcett Comics vibe, none of them are like scary. So maybe the closest you're going to get is like a Captain Nazi or King Kull, who are both kind of have that conqueror superiority master race thing in different ways.
Captain Nazi's more scary because of the realities of it rather than maybe the practicality.
Yeah, you're right. It's invoking something very like grim
and real.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that. I mean, there's the version of Mr. Mind from 52 where he turns into like a giant, insane, like multiversal butterfly. Yeah. But that's not in the context of a monster society, so I feel like it's cheating to say that monster version of him would count.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Black Adam as well by the same sort of rubric that we're throwing out here.
Yeah. Sure. All right, let's go to the next question.
Okay.
Coming to us from...
sorry. Just before we do that.
Yeah.
If anyone's interested, you can go to like the DC Wiki or things like that. You could look up like everyone who's ever been a member of the Monster Society of Evil. There's a few different versions of them. And what's funny, though, is when you look at the list and you're going down, you're like, oh, wait a minute. And you see that Adolf Hitler Benito Mussolini and Hideki Toyo are on the Monster Society of Evil. It's like, so they just fully Axis aligned.
Is that real?
Yeah.
So
I can't remember what comic it appears in, but there is a version of the Monster Society of Evil where the leaders of World War II era, Germany, Italy, and Japan were on the Monster Society of Evil.
So those three are the scariest.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, well, shit.
Cool. Anyways, next question comes from the Multi Sanchez, who asks, who is the most evil monster in this society? So not the scariest, but who's done the worst
Oh,
shit.
I see. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, Black Adam, I know now we're talking about, what an anti-hero, the hierarchy of power.
Yeah.
And he is. Objectively, that's a more interesting version of Black Adam. But, I think there's a compelling case for that. When he decides he doesn't care about collateral damage or other kind of civilian lives or whatever, he's got so much power.
Again, and technically Hitler. But, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's just put that as an asterisk for the episode.
Yeah. Technically Hitler.
That's what we'll call this episode.
Yeah.
The most evil.
Like, who's got the,
I don't, Dr. Savannah is a good call for that, I think. Savannah has kind of no scruples at all.
But because I
constantly aligns himself with Nazis and things like that. Will test experiments on his own family. Makes his kids part of the, what are they called, the Black Savannah family. That's a more recent comic, but still, there's. I think he'll burn it all down to take out Magic or to take out Captain Marvel or whatever. I think Dr. Savannah, again, in the context of what is largely a relatively cartoony sort of thing, Dr. Savannah probably deserves to be a bigger villain than he is. And I do appreciate when comic creators give him the chance. In Multiversity, Dr. Savannah becomes a major threat in the Multiversity. He forms a legion of Savannahs from across the multiverse.
Love that.
Which is very interesting, but even they all start turning on each other. They're all super selfish.
Well, I think that maybe I want to do something for myself.
Dr. Savannah. Hey, yeah. Mr. Banjo, come on.
Yeah. I think I'm going to do something that pleases only myself. No, I think I'm going to do that.
Oh, nice mint julep.
Yeah.
I'll say. Yeah, I mean, I would throw him in there, I think.
Totally.
Obviously, easy to say Captain Nazi and stuff like that, and probably true, but
to give somebody else a chance.
Someone's just going to clip that and be like, I don't know, he was kind of waffly about the Nazi.
All right, next question comes from the most interesting resident.
Okay, I'm ready.
Stephen Marion Amagro.
Oh my God.
I can't get you a guess if you've got the thing in front of you. So
I'm not looking at that.
Oh, okay.
I made some notes of things I didn't want to forget. Because I put a lot of effort in.
Well, somebody called Bruno.
Effort in.
Stephen Marion Amagro asks, Captain Nazi was... Wow, you guys are obsessed with Captain Nazi. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you gotta chill.
Yeah, fucking... Man. Captain Nazi...
I mean, you can't be like, we're talking about this supervillain team, that they go to look at it and be like, is that guy just wearing a fucking swastika?
Yeah,
of course there could be questions, yeah.
Captain Nazi was a formidable foe for the Shazam family.
Yes.
Shazamily. Do you have any ideas as to how DC can incorporate his character back in current continuity?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. He's campaigning for Trump.
Yeah, what's a relevant Nazi association with current times? Yeah, it's not like people are still supporting the Nazis.
Yeesh. Yeah, it's me, Albrecht Krieger, telling you to make America great once more. Yeah, I mean, God, that's the saddest fucking thing ever. I mean, what's interesting to me about Captain Nazi, and part of one of the things that first kind of clued me into looking up the character at all, is that he's mostly the archenemy of Captain Marvel Jr. as opposed to Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
He's like a sidekick archenemy almost, because he kept going up against Freddie Freeman.
Really?
And there became this thing about like, because Freddie in his mortal form has crutches and stuff. It became this thing about like the perfect specimen, the Ubermensch versus like the people they just throw on the pyre. You know,
Jesus
like
Christ.
You like, not that the comics ever got that dark about it, but like there is that that kind of underlying thing. And I think I always thought it was interesting that it was like the bulk of the interactions of Captain Nazi were actually with Captain Marvel Jr. And I thought that was kind of neat or interesting. I mean, if you're talking about the context of the modern sort of Shazam corner of DC.
Yeah.
The Shazam family has never been more diverse. There are black characters, Latino characters, women, people with physical disabilities. Like if there was a time to bring Captain Nazi back and have him like, horrified at the things like the power of the gods are given to all of the groups of people he deems like lesser and unworthy and stuff like that.
So was the original Shazam family like is it the current version, and was the previous version like adopted kids, or is that a thing from the movie? Or
well, here's the thing: in the old days, Billy lived with his uncle.
Oh, okay. So the rest of the family was like cousins and stuff, or
most of them didn't exist.
Oh, okay.
There was Mary Marvel,
who is
his. Well, the later retcon was that she's like a lost sister.
Okay.
But there was Mary Marvel and there was Freddie Freeman.
Okay.
I've been around for a very long time.
Sure, yeah.
There was Uncle Dudley, who himself could get powers, and he was one of the Lieutenant Marvels.
Oh, okay. All right.
Along with anyone with the name Billy Batson could say Shazam.
Really?
And they'd become the Lieutenant Marvel.
Billy Batson.
Yeah, Billy Batson. But these are all white kids.
Yes.
It's the New 52 that kind of brings in the foster home, all the adopted kids
all of that
together.
Thing is
all that stuff, the stuff we know from the movie.
Okay.
It's pretty recent.
Okay.
But what a better, if we amplify that, the reason that Captain Nazi was like more of an antagonist for Captain Marvel Jr. for Freddy. If we amplify that out and look at the modern Shazam family, Captain Nazi would blow his fucking stack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's probably a way to do it that's slightly less hacky than what we were saying, but also in the context of America and the world right now, this like hard lean right, Italy just elected a fascist.
Yeah.
All of this, like this shit is bad right now, There's a side of it that seems like too outlandish. Like his name is Captain Nazi.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's like, it very clearly is not too outlandish. And we've said for too long that it was outlandish, and that's why we're here. I mean, it's almost a perfect time, I think for me, maybe, I don't want to get too far away from the idea that he was like genetically engineered, because there is that kind of long, horrifying Nazi history of eugenics and stuff like that. So to work that in as part of the origin of Albrecht Krieger, I think works.
Yeah.
But there is a part of me that wonders if maybe like you could amplify his powers or add to his powers by, that thing we talked about with the freedom fighters, where it's not just that in that most recent series, it's not just that Uncle Sam comes into being by like people believing in the spirit of America. But that at the end of that book, we see like Marianne in France or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, what if Captain Nazi found a way to get magically empowered as like the spirit of like German Nazism?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And as Nazism worldwide rises, he gains power. So he is like a mortal, but he's found a way to tap into those kind of like national avatar kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, there's a part of me that's like, if you want to tackle that element of the story, maybe that's a way in, is that there's this sort of like extra layer of like the danger of the nationalism part of it,
it's interesting that across the world that extreme nationalism somehow always ties back to Nazi Germany. So he could just be like there could be an undercurrent where he's causing that, where it's like he just approaches like extreme nationalists and go like, what about you know who did this well?
Well, and you want to be careful with it because you don't want to make it look like that thing like. The thing that the Wonder Woman movie does well is she's like, once we kill Ares, war will be done.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not really how that works. War and violence live in the hearts of men. You know what I mean? Like, so you don't want to make the story that it's like, oh, it was just Captain Nazi. All we have to do is beat him. But I do think you're right that you can put him in that position to both benefit from and stoke. Because that's totally what happens, right? You know,
if you look around the world, it's like it always turns into Nazism for some reason.
I think there's like an examination of that might be interesting and relevant.
Yeah. I like that. That's awesome. I mean, not awesome, but let's...
Jesus.
That's a great idea.
No.
Let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
First question comes from Akuma Joe Chocula.
Nice.
Great name. Who asks... Do the villains of the Monster Society of Evil work effectively as villains for the wider DCU outside of the Shazam family?
Interesting. There's
because they're largely so like perfectly like they're kind of fun and cutesy in some ways, or overly animated in a way that works for Shazam or Captain Marvel.
Some of these other villains have shown up, especially in like events.
Well, yeah, we just talked about Dr. Savannah, Multiversity.
Dr. Savannah, you know, like you could see Mr. Atom in, I think it's Infinite Crisis. Like there's, like those characters are, but they're almost always like kind of cameos or thrown in. There's not like a ton of like, oh, Wonder Woman had to fight King Kull.
Sure.
Like there's not like a ton of that for them.
Yeah.
Black Adam's really the one
that is like,
that has kind of transcended.
But he's barely a Monsters of Evil, like.
But he's the one that's almost become more of like a DC universe kind of character in the like kind of like Deathstroke, right? Where like he has his origins as a Titans villain.
Sure.
And you could make arguments for being like a Batman villain or a Green Arrow villain, but really Deathstroke is like that kind of like universe, like or like the world kind of class of villain. And
but like,
Black Adam is in there. Dr. Savannah even though he shows up in other things, Dr. Savannah isn't like he's not really like at that level. You know what I mean? Like he's still relatively closely tied to the Shazam thing.
Do you think they could work?
I was thinking about this a little bit. I don't know that it necessarily, I mean, you can make anything work, but there's a part of me that's like in the quote sillier earlier eras of comics, and even a bit later, you would get these things where it's like, what do these characters have in common? I'm thinking of like the trench coat brigade. It's like they wear trench coats and you make a team out of them, and it's like you get Dr. Occult and Phantom Stranger or whoever, you just like put them together on some sort of flimsy premise. And there's a part of me that's like, there should be like a Cro-Magnon society or something. You get King Kull and Java from like the Metamorpho corner of things, and Vandal Savage. And, you get like the caveman characters together. There's a part of me that thinks that that's kind of fun or interesting.
Make Earth old again.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't know. It's silly, but I think you could do it. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
As like a thing.
Still doesn't work, I think, with the general continuity, but it works as a fun like miniseries.
No, but you could put it in like a one-off thing. But I don't know that addresses this question, which is like, who has like legs? Dr. Savannah does, but they just don't get worked that much.
Yeah.
Savannah could be a bigger problem.
Yeah.
But Eddie's not. I think. Well, we talked about Captain Nazi for so much. We'll leave Captain Nazi.
Oh, he'll come back up. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We'll swing back around. Yeah. Mr. Atom. There's always call for like a big robot fight, but
yeah.
Mr. Atom's weird though too, because he has like a personality. He's not just like a robot someone drives.
Sure, yeah.
Although there are versions of him in like some kid comics and stuff like that. Like my daughter's got one where Dr. Savannah is essentially driving Mr.
Oh,
Atom.
okay.
That's just a different one, but he's like kind of genocidal too. So many Captain Marvel villains are genocidal.
Weird.
It's like, between that and fucking executing Mr. Mind,
There's a dark undertone to these
very
books.
very like silly books, but yeah, extremely dark undertone. Mr. Mind could probably be bigger. Savannah could probably be bigger. I think those are probably the two main ones I would think of. Black Adam's already huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next question from our favorite religious representative.
Christian?
That's right. Who asks, what criteria must you meet not just to join the Monster Society of Evil, but to be a monster? Would Frankenstein be a good Captain Marvel villain?
Here's the thing. There are lots of characters that are kind of monster-ish. So additional like lineup of the Monster Society include like Mr. Mind like has artificial like animals and bodies and stuff manufactured basically to be part of the Monster Society. There's the Crocodile Man, you know.
More monstrous.
There are things like that. But it's not a requisite to
like be an actual like visual monster.
You don't have to be a monster in any way other than, I guess, being evil.
Yeah.
The evil is the more
monstrous, like important part
of the title. Because Dr. Savannah, Black Adam, Mr. Banjo literally has no powers or abilities beyond the banjo.
Yeah.
He's not even got like a music meister thing where he like plays the banjo and it like makes you do something, or like the fiddler or something.
Sure, he doesn't even play ding 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 ding.
Run. But here, I'm just gonna run down some of the list here.
Yeah.
An army of termites and worms.
Wait, that's a name of a character?
Bonzo, a hunchback human with large eyes and fangs.
Are these names?
Yeah. Dr. Smashy, a short Japanese scientist, and one of Mr. Mind's lieutenants. Evil Eye, a green-skinned humanoid monster who can hypnotize people. There's a Hydra.
Wow. So
an actual monster.
There are some monsters in there, yeah.
But then there's also like, it's mostly humans and crocodile people. A couple of other monsters, and then just other super-powered things. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
The monster part is actually less of a criterion than you would think that it is. So yeah, I mean, I think the point of as I was reading about this, and citation needed slightly, but the original Monster Society of Evil arc that happened in the comics happened in the Golden Age, and as you know, an arc in the Golden Age is unheard of.
Yeah.
Here's the craziest part: this one is like 25 issues long.
Wow.
It's kind of considered like this like super impressive, groundbreaking achievement.
Yeah.
It was like 25 issues, so that's 2 years of monthly comics, right? That was this arc of and it was bringing together villains that had already fought Captain Marvel. A lot of villain teams were maybe like made with the express purpose of like being put together to fight villain. But this was like, you've seen these ones before, now they're teaming up. It's one of the first kind of villain team ups.
Wow.
Like in a true team up fashion where we know who they are, and then
that's crazy.
You see them again.
I love that.
So really, if we're talking about like what's the criteria, it's like probably more like grudge against Captain Marvel.
Sure.
You want retribution. You want to like take a. It's not like they got together and then Captain Marvel stopped them afterwards. It's not like they were like, and we're gonna make everyone a monster. They didn't have like a different mission. It was, we have to beat Captain Marvel, and we can do it together under my leadership, Mr. Mind.
Feels a bit like Secret Society.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element of that to it, right? And it's a precursor to that.
Yeah.
I don't know where it sits against like the Injustice Society or some of those other things, but I mean, truly one of the first villain teams ever.
Yeah.
So that's more the criteria. You've got to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
You've got to, I guess you kind of have to fall in line, which is crazy that you have like Captain Nazi, King Cull, Dr. Savannah, Black Adam, even in some cases, like all these people that are like, these people don't take orders.
Yeah, listening to Mr. Mind, but because of the manipulation thing.
There's that element, but like, you know, there are comics where like there's like a power struggle in the team or whatever. But yeah, I think that's more it than anything. As for who would make a good contribution, I mean, Frankenstein is a character in DC, like the monster.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was Agent of Shade, all these kind of things. He's a good guy. But it might be interesting to bring like Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah. Taking down his monster. You know,
or like, who does Frankenstein always fight? Melmoth or whatever. Bring them onto the Monster Society of Evil. You know, we're talking about moving Shazam characters out, but bring some other ones in. You know, the Mighty, like I talked about, that's an old Spectre villain they brought in. Like, you could do that with bigger, or I mean, Melmoth's not that much bigger, but you know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah.
Take some of the other corners of DC and fold them in, and maybe that helps rise the team to a more of a level of prominence. They're never going to. They're the Monster Society of Evil. They're never going to like be the preeminent team, but I do think there's a place for some of those kind of weirder pieces.
Yeah, I love that.
Even like a Floronic Man.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, he's
something like in those, or like Blackbriar Thorn, or I think there's room. Grundy, like I think there's room for some of these other characters to have to step in, to the Monster Society kind of thing, in a way that might be kind of fun.
Yeah, there's a very like Universal Monsters vibe to it that you could really play in a larger scale.
You know, and especially like think of who Mr. Mind would be looking for. Having Grundy on the team would be great, like easy to dominate.
Yeah,
big muscle. You know, I could see that sort of thing working.
Yeah, I love that. All right, next question comes from Mosaic Comics, who asks, was Mr. Mind's role in 52 a much-needed update to an old character, or did it stray too far from his roots as a goofy bad guy from a simpler time?
Right. So during 52, it's revealed that... Okay, so there's a couple things here.
Yeah.
Infinite Crisis, Alexander Luthor Jr. tries to recreate the multiverse, because they're going to find the better Earth to build a new Earth on.
Yeah.
They stop him, and all of the Earths collapse back together into a new Earth. But it's too much to be held by one reality, and it expands out into a multiverse again. But they're all identical.
Okay.
So it's 52 identical Earths.
Yeah.
Exact same histories. And then Mr. Mind kind of gets trapped sort of interdimensionally, like he's growing and cocooning inside Skeets, and he breaks out as this giant monster who starts like consuming pieces of reality. They talk about him like eating time and space, and that is the thing that starts making each Earth different from each other.
Oh, wow.
Very kind of weird, but also, Mr. Mind has this huge like monster butterfly kind of form.
Love that.
Which is, I mean, it's kind of cool. It's weird. And, you know, it's like, it'd be like he's eating reality. It's like, this is like, we've already done the the retcon punch and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're into kind of weird territory anyway. It is weird. But here's the thing. A, it's cool to use Shazam characters or Captain Marvel characters. I love that. Especially because in the lead up to Infinite Crisis, the Rock of Eternity was destroyed. Captain Marvel had to sacrifice himself to sit inside because the wizard Shazam was killed by the Spectre. Mm-hmm. So he had to take the place of the wizard inside the Rock of Eternity. Freddy got promoted to, the champion because basically Captain Marvel became the wizard.
Yeah.
So there was like, all this stuff was getting shaken up. It made sense to bring in an element of that world. Black Adam was part of Infinite Crisis. He played a part in there, but bring in Mr. Mind too. That works. I like that. That's good. That's in. There is a thing that DC did when they kind of first acquired Fawcett Comics and those characters is that I think that's where the interdimensional origin maybe came from for Mr. Mind.
Okay.
Or if it was already part of it, they like canonized it. Because he showed up on Earth 2 and fought the Justice Society. And perhaps that's where Hitler and them joined the team. But he did that for a bit and then was beaten and then was sent to the Fawcett Comics Earth. But it was heavily implied that that's not the Earth that he didn't come from Earth S.
Oh.
That he actually comes from a third different one.
Okay.
That he's not from the Venus of Captain Marvel's world. He's from a different Venus, a different dimension. So DC had already messed with kind of shunting Mr. Mind through the multiverse a little bit. So in a sense, it's not the wildest thing to put him in kind of a multiverse position during Infinite Crisis. It's only weird in that who has been keeping track of Mr. Mind?
Yeah.
So like from an audience perspective, I don't know that people are reading that and going like, man, what a great callback.
Sure.
But I think there's a certain degree of sense to it up until the point where you're like a butterfly is eating time and space and that's why these Earths are different from each other.
Yes, it's a bit of a wild hit.
It's silly to say, and that makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
But I think there's... I don't think it is the weirdest move, and I think it's a relatively creative use of Mr. Mind. You know, it's one of those things too where like you kind of know he's not going to stay a giant monster. Like let him be a giant monster. We know we're going to get a little worm guy back at some point. Like we'll get him back. I'm fine with that. You know.
Yeah, I love
that's kind of where I'm at with that.
All right, let's leave Twitter and head on over to Instagram.
Now we're going to Instagram, take some questions and answer them.
First question comes from Multi Sanchez. Yeah. Once again, the Multi Sanchez.
Did he get two questions
in? Got two questions in.
You son of a bitch.
Wow.
Caught me sleeping.
Yeah. Well, that's on you. First question. In Batman, The Brave and the Bold, there was a power struggle between Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind. Mr. Mind. Is this a thing in the comics, or is there one person in charge? Has that always been the same person?
Interestingly, the Monster Society of Evil is almost exclusively
Mr. Mind.
a Mr. Mind thing. And I think that maybe speaks to that thing we were talking around before, which is like, these people won't work together.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of only do in this one context, you know? Unlike, I know Lex is almost always part of a Injustice League or a secret society, but like these things do form without him too. He's just such a prominent villain that if he's around, he's leading it kind of thing. But like, it can happen without him. Just like there have been Justice Leagues without Superman or, you know, stuff like that. Yeah. It's not.
Can't not happen without them.
Yeah. It's possible, even if it's less likely or less frequent or whatever. But the Monster Society is like a Mr. Mind thing. And I think a big part of that too is that they always bolster their numbers with these like extra monster minions that kind of Mr. Mind has the group kind of manufacture or create or summon or whatever. Yeah, I mean, that Brave and the Bold episode is very fun. And that show has such the right tone to get a little Mr. Mind in there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of somewhat campy, very colorful, you know. That's a fun one. I mean, Savannah, I think, would be the biggest threat to Mr. Mind. Black Adam would kind of just join the group or not. But Savannah would join the group, like, to fuck with it. Or to take it over. You know, like, Black Adam, that's too much effort. You'd just be like, I would rather just do my own thing. Pursue the justices I want to pursue kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if he joined, it would be because he's like, I believe in it. And he would just leave after he didn't. You know what I mean? That's more how he works. Dr. Savannah would be like, okay, I'll join. And then like be off in the corner being like, hee. Like,
sure.
Because he's such a fucking like manipulator and like
shit disturber. Yeah.
Shit disturber and like a traitor. He's like, there's a treacherous streak to Dr. Savannah that he'll he'll climb any ladder, he'll debase himself in any way if at
Yeah.
the end of it he gets ahead.
Sure.
He kind of has zero scruples.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably the biggest. It made sense to do that in that episode. I think that's probably always going to be the biggest threat to Mr. Mind in a group like this is someone like Dr. Savannah, who's already like distrustful or envious or whatever of magic and like these extra. I know Mr. Mind is an alien with telepathy. That's technically all science stuff, but a lot of this group is like there's a magic component. There are science villains like Mr. Atom or even King Kull, but like the Crocodile Men, that's like magic shit. There's people who can hypnotize. There's people who can like. There's always kind of like a mystical element, and of course, Captain Marvel has magical power. So I think to have Dr. Savannah in there, where he's like immediately like kind of conniving and jealous, and he's like, "I deserve the power." Like, that's a volatile element to bring into a team situation.
What is it all like? What the movie does with him, where he was almost selected? Is that a thing from the comics?
No, it's not even a thing.
It's such a great.
It's not
concept.
even a thing in the new comics.
Wow.
What happens in the New 52 when they introduce Shazam is Dr. Savannah uncovers Black Adam's tomb.
Sure.
And he I'm going to slightly fuck this up. He finds it, and he's either already previously found some sort of magic thing or something else, and he goes to open it, and he kind of gets caught in this magical explosion, and it ends up in his eye.
Oh.
And he then can see magic.
Oh, okay.
Or something happens, and he can see magic, and that's how he finds the tomb. I'm fucking it up, but that's what his eye does. It's not the sins like it is in the movie. That eye is like this man of science now has a window into the world of magic.
Sure.
He can see it and access it and stuff like that. And that's kind of how they did that in the New 52. And then there is a Mr. Mind element to that comes up later.
I love the concept that like he was almost selected.
I think that was smart for the movie.
I love that. That's a great like thing to. It's like why is he so jealous of magic? It's because he almost had it and then was taken away. I love that.
It's a thing that I think probably the movie does better than the New 52 comics, which is like in the New 52, like Billy's not like shucks.
Yeah.
He's like been bounced around the foster system. He's like kind of a dick, but it's he doesn't deserve it. But it's
he
like
just had a bad life.
He's a little more like real.
Yeah.
And I think people kind of rebuke that because part of the thing to love is that he is pure.
Yeah.
In the face of anything kind of thing.
But you can be both. You can also have a hard life.
But what I like in the movie is that it's Billy is abrasive and he pushes people away and he breaks the rules and he doesn't respect authority.
But I like at the heart of it, he's good.
At the heart of it, he's just trying to find his mom. And he believes that his mom is trying to find him.
Yeah.
Which is why that scene is so fucking heartbreaking.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
I
know.
I can't anymore. Like at the heart of him is that thing. And at the heart of Savannah is not that he wants to be good, it's that he wants to one up.
Yeah.
Because he's been kind of abused. It's not that he doesn't have cause for sympathy or things like that. But it's the choices, right? Yeah. So he's presented with the thing. He's like, I would take that power, of course. Yeah. Then they won't laugh at me.
Yeah.
And Billy is kind of like,
not worth my time.
So I don't know that the movie nails it, but they get it better than the comics do, which is surprising because that movie is based so heavily on.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe that's like a lesson learned scenario or something.
I love it.
But yeah.
Anyways, next question comes from Liam K. Willis, who asks, what characters do you wish had gained more prominence or perhaps risen to the level of popularity that Black Adam has or notoriety that Dr. Savannah has?
Yeah, who would you like to see change the hierarchy of power in the DC universe?
I was waiting for it. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's a theory to say that, like, Mr. Mind is on the same level as Dr. Savannah in some ways because of the New 52 stuff, but...
Yeah. I mean, they both barely show up.
Yeah, I don't really need...
Dr. Savannah's probably shown up a bit more, but yeah.
I don't need I don't need Nazis in there. Like, there's a way.
Although I don't hate our pitch.
Yes, for sure. Etzo don't need more Nazis.
Fair.
So who do we have else?
I mean, to me, it has to be Mr. Mind.
Right, yeah.
As the lead. I mean, here's the thing with the Monster Society of Evil. They're not heavy hitters.
Yes.
I do think I do have a kind of weird interest in King Kull.
Yeah, you brought him up a few times now.
The idea that he was the ruler of this sort of like more advanced, well, significantly more advanced, but still distinctly caveman kind of society that were like, they were like the rulers over all the kind of hominids. And then like modern humans rose up and overthrew him. And then he fakes his death in an explosion, but it puts him in suspended animation or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wakes up in the modern age. And the idea that you have this guy that wakes up and he's both prehistoric, but with technology beyond comprehension is such like a silly idea, but I kind of fucking love that. I know the caveman thing's like maybe a little like overwrought, but like, I don't know. King Kull, I think, has potential. There's got to be a take on King Kull.
I've got a pitch.
Okay, hit me.
Back.
Okay.
I think that like that's a character we haven't really talked much about.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about this character, at least in its original like publication history, is that like this is a character that got its powers from Lucifer.
Yes, he makes a deal and he gets like super strength.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a connection there to like dark, like demonic possession type thing that you could make this character way cooler than it's ever been.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, I mean, the fact that it's also a character that's alter ego is Stanley Stinky Print Whistle.
Here's a fun fact about IBAC.
Yeah.
You know how Shazam is like an acronym?
Oh, okay. What does IBAC stand
So is
for?
IBAC. At least it is original thing. So I is for the terror of Ivan the Terrible.
I thought it'd be like the terror of IBAC.
which would be very funny. Which translates to stamina.
Sure.
B is for the cunning of Cesare Borgia. Jesus. And that translates to durability, I guess.
Okay.
That's not really what cunning means, but A is for the fierceness of Attila the Hun.
Wow.
That's his strength. And then C is for the cruelty of Caligula.
Wow.
Yeah, holy shit.
I think IBAC deserves more. Feels like a nice like counter to Shazam.
Like many characters, he's shown up once in a while.
Yeah.
But again, truly, the Captain Marvel Rogues Gallery is supremely underused. Maybe rightfully.
I mean, sure.
We might be like, this might be that thing where it's like, we know better.
Yeah.
But it's like,
justice for IBAC.
Yeah. Justice for IBAC. Yeah, you know, you're right, though. There's something interesting about someone that like literally like sells their soul to save.
I feel like there's a weird occult sort of thing that's not really being explored with
I'm into that. I don't hate that.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah, I think I'm saying King Kull.
Okay.
You're saying IBAC.
IBAC,
Yeah, those are the two we want. So DC execs,
You know you're listening.
let's change the hierarchy. Let's get them up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Oh, actually, so we're almost at Halloween,
Right.
and do you put up decorations? I actually don't know.
Inside a little bit and not too much. Like there's a part of me that kind of wants to go harder on it, but it's also like we don't get that many kids where we are.
Sure.
But yeah, so I don't do too much.
I have a pitch for you.
Sure, yeah.
Have you seen I don't know if you've seen across the street, there's a giant skeleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of
fun.
my neighbors has a giant skeleton.
Yeah.
You should do that, but then put it in a block of ice.
Holy shit. Holy shit. The Iceman Customs.
That's right. The next question comes from the Iceman Customs. Every time, baby.
Nice. Ice.
Nice to see you, Customs. Iceman Customs asks, please talk about Mr. Atom. I hope we get a one shot where all the atoms could come together. Captain Atom, Atom Smasher, Atom, etc.
That's the thing that I want with cavemen.
Yeah. All the cavemen.
Yeah. I like that. It also makes me think of, sorry, just on that note, it makes me think of in Multiversity, in that Ultra Comics issue.
Yeah.
They do a thing where they bring together all the characters named Ultra.
Oh.
Because that comic is called Ultra Comics.
Sure, yeah.
But then there's also Ultra with 2 A's. They
Yeah.
bring in Ultra the multi-alien.
Yeah.
Like they bring in all the characters called Ultra as like a thing in that book. And that also makes me think of that.
Love that.
So Mr. Atom is a nuclear-powered robot that I believe at one point was a little bit more kind of human-sized. He's often depicted as giant, but that's not always the case. He's a nuclear-powered robot that essentially wants to wipe out humanity. He's got kind of like a cone head sort of thing. He kind of sort of looks like a warhead a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see here. I'm just gonna try and I'm just gonna pull up a picture for you to look at, so you can see Mr. Atom.
Sure.
So you can see in this one, he looks more kind of person shaped.
Okay.
This is like an older Mr. Atom.
Yeah.
Like kind of more recent ones, he's a little bit more like a kaiju kind of scenario. Kind of more like that.
Wow.
And then some versions are like he's like tall as a building kind of thing. But that's Mr. Atom. So he's created by, I'm gonna get this right here. Oh yeah, he's created by a scientist who charges the robot with radioactive energy, and the spark of life, spark that gave the robot life, also killed the creator. Jeez. So he's just like, he just kind of wakes up. He has as they describe it, a deadly mind.
Ooh.
And he he decides he should rule the world, and he's gonna kill a bunch of people and stuff like that. He's kind of another kind of weirdly genocidal, cold, calculating villain of the super fun Marvel family.
So weird.
It is very weird. But he's like fully artificial. It's not like a Metallo situation where he was a guy, John Corbin, who then becomes a thing. It's not, he's not cybernetic. He is a robot that gains life and a degree of sentience, I guess. And just wants to rule and kill and conquer. That's Mr. Atom.
I think that
he's been part of like I think you see him in like part of the secret society and different events and stuff like again, like a lot of these characters, when you want to show that all the villains are part of it, you see them drawn in or worked in, but like comic to comic, title to title, we're not spending a lot of time on Mr. Atom. You know what I mean?
I think that he's not like unique enough.
I think the problem is that ultimately he's just a robot with energy blasts and stuff like that. There's not like a ton of personality to him.
Yeah.
It's kind of why I didn't throw him out as the one to like boost up. Like he's kind of there's not enough going on there. I think is really the problem. It's kind of like I mean, there are some captivating Titano stories, but to me, like Titano is like a Superman adversary that it's like you're always going to be a weird one a writer throws in just to remind everyone that Titano's there.
Yeah,
you know, there are a couple of interesting takes on that character that I've read, and I'm sure you could have interesting takes on Mr. Atom. His most recent appearance of the Monster Society in general was in Shazam series from not that long ago that had the 7 magic lands. Guess who wrote it?
Who could it be? Jeff Johns? Oh wow.
Mr. Atom was in there. Slightly different origin. He comes from one of the magic lands there. He comes from the fun lands. He's sort of meant to evoke, like, he's almost supposed to be like a toy. I think he's meant to evoke like that kind of idea, as opposed to his normal origin. But that's I think the most recent appearance of him.
Okay. All right, let's leave Instagram and head on over to Reddit.
Where everyone's nice, no one's ever mean.
One and only question that comes from Reddit is from Blatant, who asks, what sins did Mr. Banjo commit to earn a place at the table with Black Adam and Captain Nazi?
Well, I mean, I mentioned it before. I'll bring it up again. Mr. Banjo.
Yeah.
Can't remember his real name. Something dumb. Here, give me a sec.
Banjizington.
Mr. Banjo's real name. Oh, Kurt Philpotts.
Okay, less fun.
He has no powers. He has a banjo, and he would send coded messages to the Axis, selling Allied secrets during the war.
I like that
he was just a bad guy.
Yeah.
He would go up against Captain Marvel, but that's all he just has a banjo.
He's not a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. And that's it.
That's so. How does he go up against him though?
Great question. I have not read nearly enough Mr. Banjo.
Yeah, like Shazam Captain Marvel just shows up and goes, "Hey, you did that," and he goes, "Yeah, you got me," and then he's just like,
pretty much. Yeah. I mean, God, even if you go to like the wiki or whatever, it's like a shaggy green suit and a straw hat carried an old banjo. It's like end of article. It's very funny.
I also like the idea that he's like, cling, 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 cling. I hear that American troops are gonna be in Russia in 2 weeks. Ding, 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 ding.
Well, I think it was meant to be like patterns in the banjo, like Morse code or something, not like now play the lyrics backward, folks. Like step to the left and don't see dough and watch out for Dunkirk. Here we go. Like I don't think it was like anything like. I think it was meant to be like patterned into the music. Yeah, he kind of just feels like he's there because Captain Nazi's like, I know a guy.
That's what it feels like. I just also like the idea that he's like, I mean, I guess not.
They use Mr. Banjo in the Robot Chicken DC specials.
Really?
He just kind of shows up and plays banjo and stuff. But.
I do. It's funny because I was about to say, what would a guy like who plays the banjo from like the South have any like? And then I was like, oh, actually,
hey, we could roll him into our pitch.
Yeah, make America great again.
Yeah,
yeah. Like
Mr. Banjo goes on tour, but you learn that the messaging of the thing is very alt-right.
I refuse to go on Ellen. Ding 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 ding.
But that's just because I stand with Dakota Johnson.
I'm so confused. Where does he stand?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I think he's okay. He just cares about Dakota Johnson. Ellen should have gone to her birthday. I don't know, man. We're going to have to keep an eye on Mr. Banjo.
I'm on one side of the border between Russia and Ukraine.
I won't say which.
Yeah, ding, 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 ding. Israel and Palestine, that sure is complex.
That's going to be Mr. Banjo's new shtick. He says things that is like technically true, but also they're kind of like the red flag things.
Yeah.
But you're not 100% sure.
There are many genders, and they should all stay in their own bathrooms.
Uh-oh. Do you mean... Oh, hey, Mr.
You know what I mean.
I'm scared to ask a clarifying question, Mr. Banjo.
Wink! Ding, 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 ding.
My opinion, you use the bathroom you're meant to use. Yeah. And then you... shit, like, what is he... Is he... Oh, I don't know, man.
I'm proud of our country. I believe in freedom. Freedom for most people.
Oh, man. That's kind of a funny pitch. Is to like the idea of someone
vaguely
someone too silly to ignore constantly playing both sides. That's kind of funny.
They should get their own bathroom.
Yeah, it's like, is he saying? Yeah, what's he saying? Is he just saying everyone should use the bathroom they want?
Yeah.
Or you should only have single stall, gender neutral washrooms? Or is he saying you should make a third washroom for people that identify as they? What's he saying?
They want me to use their pronouns.
It's like, and he is, but it doesn't feel right. If I'm being honest, it doesn't feel good. That's funny. Jesus Christ.
All right, let's...
Mr. Banjo's on both sides. Oh, God, that's funny.
All right, let's leave Reddit and head over to the doc score.
Oh, God. Docs scored. Docs scored. Docs scored.
I love that song.
Yeah, you got a purred Discord.
Yeah. I think what they do in that movie is great. Chick, does he mean it because he thinks that... Wait, hold on.
Does he think the execution of the movie is good, or...
All right, first... First question. Nope.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yo Crow, or technically it's Yo Crow 0.
Yeah, I mean, whenever someone puts a 0 in their name, you definitely pronounce the word 0.
Unless there's already an O in the name.
I don't know, man. Figure it out.
Or it's Yo Crow. Whoa.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
There we go.
Oh, so wait, right, because it's Yo.
Yes.
And then the Crow
and then
Crow
0
has, those are both zeros. So
in the connotation where there is an O, is a zero or like a more like whoa
or like oh whoa?
Oh, okay.
He's doing woo but with zeros.
Yo Crow whoa?
Oh whoa?
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
I sure do.
My TikTok For You page is full of interesting stuff.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I'll never tell. Say, by the way, where did you say that shipment was going?
All right.
Fucking Mr. Banjo.
We've unlocked him. Why would DC Comics continue to use the Monster Society of Evil for Shazam and not have them face more supernatural heroes like Justice League Dark or the Creature Commandos?
Right.
Wouldn't this make more sense, especially for a Halloween super spooky special?
Yeah, I mean, it probably would. I think the only hiccup there is, again, that the Monster Society of Evil doesn't really have a mandate beyond
Shazam.
Fuck you, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And so I like the idea of that, and you could certainly like pitch a new interpretation or something like that. But I would worry that in doing that, we'd actually like lose the Captain Marvel villains as part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that ties, it's the only thing that ties them together, really.
Yeah.
So it's almost more like you have to bring Shazam more into the magic world.
Yeah.
I mean, not that he's not already magical, he is. But like, look at Day of Vengeance. In that story, where the Spectre goes rogue, they have to channel all of the magic of remaining sorcerers into Captain Marvel so he can fight the Spectre.
Yeah.
And he does. But after that fight, he's sitting in the Oblivion bar. He's so clearly out of place.
Yeah. Okay.
But also uncomfortable. And he's kind of like, this isn't my crowd.
Yeah.
In the way that, like, for a long time, Wonder Woman wasn't either. You know, bringing Wonder Woman into the Justice League Dark was a neat move.
Yeah.
And they dealt with the idea of like, you're not really in our world, princess. And she's like, I'm as magical as fucking anybody.
Yeah,
And it's like, that's true, but also like, you don't know how this society works.
Yeah.
There's a culture. That's why we always see like all of magic gets together a bunch, villains and heroes, and they just kind of do it.
Yeah.
Because there's these weird, the rules are different. The like, what side of the morality scale are you on? It's different in the world of magic. And for Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, who are these characters of virtue and things like that, there is something kind of seedy and different and foreign about that. So I think...
Did you say foreign? I've got opinions.
Fucking Mr. Banjo. Get the fuck out of here, Mr. Banjo.
Sorry. Ding-ding-ding-ding-ding.
I think whether it's the context for like one story or whether it would be for like a new version, ongoing version of the team, part of what would make it necessary, I think, to not lose the heart of the Monster Society, but address these things, is to pull Shazam more into magic. Because even this like 7 Magic Lands thing is like, no one else is like,
sure.
Detective Chimp's not like, oh yeah, they're still separate. They're like, they're segregated. Oh wait, hey, did I hear somebody say?
Everyone should get their own area. Wait, hold on. Does you think that they should be like everyone should get their own space but be able to go into each other, or they could only be in their own space?
See ya.
I said what I said.
Jesus Christ. But it's still like its own thing. Like the Magic Lands are like just a Shazam domain. So I think you have to integrate into the world of magic more, and then you can start accessing those things that we were talking about, like Melmoth or Grundy, or like you could bring more of these things in, and maybe that also not only helps, maybe that helps bring Shazam more into things, because he's always in with superheroes, and that's obvious because he's kind of modeled on like he's meant to be more in the kind of colorful daylight kind of thing, but he's also one of the most powerful beings of magic on Earth.
Crazy.
He should be more connected.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, we have one last question.
All right, hit me.
From But Fart. But.
Oh my God.
Who asks, are there any members of Shazam's Rogues Gallery who aren't in the Monster Society of Evil?
Oh. Huh. Probably. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that original team came together very early days in the Golden Age, like in the 40s.
Yeah.
And it was made of characters that Captain Marvel had fought before. It wasn't made of every character he'd fought before, but he probably also was fighting like there'd be like a mafia, like the early Superman ones too, where it's like
bad guys,
like Jimmy Naveen.
Yeah,
it's like, well, we're not gonna see him again, like whatever. So I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure. Well, what's interesting is that when that team started, some of the characters that we have talked about today weren't around yet. Like I think Mr. Atom doesn't come around until later.
Okay.
So, members of... I mean, the big one, I guess, would be the 7 Deadly Enemies of Man. That's a major, Captain Marvel villain set that just aren't in the Monster Society.
Yeah.
The 7 Deadly Sins, or 7 Deadly Enemies of Man, whatever you want to call them, are not in the Monster Society. That's probably the biggest...
And what about
biggest one?
The new Shazam movie? Like the big villains in that, are they from the comics?
They're made up.
Oh, okay.
They're called the Daughters of Atlas.
Oh, okay.
But they're not from the comics.
It's a bold move to not put comics characters.
Oh, I love that though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a part of me that wants to see that stuff, but like in the interest of like make a movie that is not like a loose or poor adaptation of an existing graphic novel.
I was just really hoping we'd see Mr. Mind,
and who knows, we might still. But yeah, I'm interested in that. I think I mean, there must be other ones. I'm not thinking of them offhand. But although, to be honest, if you were to ask me to name Captain Marvel villains, I would name most of
Yeah.
Savannah, Black Adam, versions of that. There's the Black Marvel family.
Sure.
I don't know if every one of them has been. They probably haven't actually.
Yeah.
So I think you get some, extra character like ISIS and that. I don't think I've been like ISIS.
Let's keep the mafia out of the Monster Society of Evil. I don't want those Italians in here.
Here's what I'll say about foreigners. I like their food. It's like
And? I always want to be able to get their food.
I love foreign food.
Yeah.
And
and
that's it? Or
I always want to be able to eat their food.
Jesus Christ. Good Lord. Good Lord.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, so there's probably some, kind of characters like that.
Yeah.
That haven't been
like third tier. Yeah.
Or when you're getting like a few degrees away, or characters that have like come up, more recently, like the Sabak, the villain that's going to be in the Black Adam movie, hasn't been in the Monsters. Yeah. But we're getting a few tiers away there. And then the big one I'd say is the 7 Deadly Enemies of Man.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the last question, but we're not done.
Holy shit.
Time to play everybody's favorite game. Can you guess the name of the character based on someone who does not read comic book and describe that character to us?
Ooh.
I'm excited for this week's.
Uh-oh.
So if you don't know how this game works, I send a image of a DC character to my wife who does not read comic books, nor does she care for them. She sends back 4 clues describing what she sees.
Right.
Are you ready?
I mean, never, but I did technically get it last week.
Technically.
Yeah. Not that anybody listened, but...
It's another push.
No. Only I can push.
Convenient. Can I?
Push what?
Yeah. Them over. Who? Wait, hold on.
I'm a performer. It's my duty to speak truth to power.
I mean, I used my platform to speak to the masses.
Freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Man, I love that you've discovered Mr. Banjo now.
I support freedom. Wait, well, hold on.
I don't know, Mr. Banjo.
All right, first of 4 clues. Fancy lad.
Mr. Banjo.
No, that would be fucking crazy, though.
A fancy lad?
Yeah.
Zachary Zatara?
No.
Giovanni Zatara?
No.
A fancy lad. Young Bruce Wayne?
No.
Clary and the Witch Boy?
No.
Okay, next clue.
Next clue. Abdominal cutouts for zero modesty.
Cosmic Boy?
No.
Next clue.
Flowing golden locks, amazing hair volume.
Flowing locks.
Fancy lad.
Fancy lad, abdominal cutouts. Fancy lad, abdominal cutouts, long flowing golden locks.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. It's not Atlas.
No.
Because we've done that one.
Yes.
Not like some version of Azrael or...
No.
Huh. Or like one of the weird Starmen.
Nope.
I feel like this is going to be one that would make me mad.
Yeah.
Give me the last clue.
Final
Try
clue.
and put the whole picture together here.
Final clue. Sexy purple thigh highs. Prince style.
Long flowing golden hair.
Mm-hmm.
Fancy lad.
Mm-hmm.
Abdominal cutouts.
You can get a special Richard's final clue if you need it.
I need to at least get a guess out. on this one.
Okay.
Prometheus?
No.
He doesn't have blonde hair. It's not like Polaris.
No.
It's not. This isn't some like mid-transformation Martian Manhunter or something. Yeah.
No.
The purple boots thing. Luthor?
No. Do you want a special Richard's final clue?
Give me a second. Faust.
No.
Yeah.
Special Richard's final clue. You have already said this character's name today.
Oh, son of a bitch. Cull?
Nope.
I've said this character's name today.
Mm-hmm.
Golden hair,
Mm-hmm.
purple boots, abdominal cutouts, fancy lad. Shit.
It blew my mind you said this character's name in it.
Is it Is it the Mighty?
No.
No, hang on. Fuck me. Fuck. Melmoth?
No.
Fuck. I don't know.
You spelled this character's name.
Oh, it was Iback?
No.
No, because Iback doesn't.
No.
I spelled this character's
Yeah.
name, but it wasn't Iback?
Yeah.
Oh.
You ready?
Yeah. Fucking Ultra. Damn it. Oh, you idiot.
I was like, you were literally like Ultra with 2 A's. I'm like, how? How does this come up?
That's ginger hair, though. He's not. Those are not golden locks. Damn it.
Strawberry
I
blonde.
would have gotten it. That's a push.
No, it is not.
That clue was deceptive. That's a push.
If you can get my wife to agree with you, then sure.
That's fine.
If you can get her to agree, then I will say
It's
yes.
definitely a push. That's not golden hair.
I guarantee.
I 100% would have gotten it. I was hewing to the clues.
Oh, of course, of course. Even though you constantly are saying characters that look nothing like this.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's pretty sure that's a push.
Well, if any of you other residents out there have been able to guess who this week's was, based on just the fact that it's already one that you've said.
I mean, listen, no one expects you to. The clues were deceptive.
You can reach out to us, or you can say, give us a question for next week's episode.
Oh, yeah. Next week, continuing our villain team theme. Next week, we're talking about The Hive.
Ooh, great band.
I guess.
And the Vines.
Are
good.
they?
It's the Hives, technically.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Hive.
So send questions about The Hive.
Very fun.
Yeah.
You can send those questions to our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast.
our Twitter,
At Dr. DC.
our Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast.
our email.
DrDCPodcast@gmail.com.
You can jump on our subreddit.
Yep. r/Dr_DC.
Yep.
Yeah.
And of course, you can give us a call.
I spent a lot of time on Reddit.
Supporting my causes.
Okay. Yep. You got to fight for what you believe in.
I mean, yeah. Favorite new character.
When you know that what you stand for is right,
Yeah.
you plant your feet and you don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
That's right. Don't just listen to what the government says.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, man.
Hashtag not all cops. Oh, wait. No, that's just bad.
We got him.
Yeah.
He picked a side.
The doc phone is always open.
208-917-3238.
That's 28917 DCEU.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm nasty.
But I like the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
That feels like a thing you say and people go, And
Yeah.
which kind are you?
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a thing you have to deal with. Yeah. All right. Also, you can go on our TikTok.
That's right. At Dr. DC.
Yep. We also have a website.
DrDCpodcast.com or .ca.
That's correct.
A thing I remembered.
Give us a 5-star review.
Do it. Yeah.
I really can't stop talking like this.
I love leaving comments on the internet.
You can send us physical mail to 301 Hogue Street, Whitehorse, Yukon, Canada, Y1A1V8, to the Richard Eden or Reed Vanier. Also, we've got...
I'm always sending mail to my congressman.
I send packages to the White House.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got our own Patreon.
Yeah, patreon.com/DrDC. All the levels give you access to the Discord, our awesome fan community. At the higher levels, you get theme polls and extra episodes and videos, all sorts of fun stuff. And it helps to support us.
That's right. I'm part of a lot of vocal online communities.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The thing that's great about the internet is finding like-minded people.
Yeah, to gather and fight for something you believe in.
I like to do my own research.
Also, we have a whole other podcast.
Yeah, Ghostfacers, a Supernatural rewatch. We're going through every single episode of the CW Supernatural. We talk about real world monster lore, behind the scenes stuff about the show. We're partway into season 6 now. And yeah, it's a ton of fun over there.
That's right. I prefer the early seasons.
Oh, no, but of what? Of Supernatural? Yeah.
I've got strong feelings about Bella. And the way that she was gotten rid of. And her personal history. That's it for this week. Ciao, ciao.
Adios.
Heroes, they always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure, they are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.